The governor of Texas is furious, and not just at politicians, but at viral YouTube videos, convincing millions that new 2026 Texas laws are changing everything from property taxes to gun rights. But here's the truth. The legislature does not even meet in 2026, and those jaw-dropping law changes do not exist. In fact, most so-called updates already happened years ago, or never happened at all. So why are so many Texans planning their lives around ghost laws? And what is the single detail that immediately exposes every fake law change video? The answer starts with the one date almost nobody is telling you. Every 2 years, a familiar sound echoes through the Texas Capitol, the gavel striking wood, marking the start of a new legislative session. By design, the Texas Legislature only meets in regular session during odd-numbered years, such as 2025 and 2027. This schedule is not just tradition, it is written into the Constitution. Lawmakers gather for 140 days, starting in January, racing against the clock to debate, amend, and pass bills. When the session ends, most new laws take effect the following September 1st, unless a bill names a different date or is declared an emergency. That means the laws shaping daily life in 2026 were almost all decided months earlier, in the 2025 session, not by any sudden action in 2026. For anyone scrolling past alarming headlines or viral videos, this simple pattern reveals a powerful truth. If a video claims a sweeping new Texas law is coming in 2026, but there was no legislative session that year, something does not add up. The next regular session, where major bills can be introduced, debated, and passed, will not happen until 2027. In fact, the only way laws could change between sessions is if the governor calls a special session. That power exists, but it is rare and always announced publicly, with the topics set in advance and the outcomes clearly reported. As of now, no such session has been called for 2026. This timing rule acts as a filter against misinformation. The Texas legislative calendar is public, predictable, and slow-moving by design. If a claim about new law changes does not match up with the session schedule, it should be treated as a red flag. Understanding this cycle makes it possible to spot fake news from the start, before it spreads confusion or panic. For Texans trying to keep up with real changes, the calendar is the first fact to check. Property tax relief headlines have swirled across Texas, but the numbers behind the new law tell a different story than the viral videos suggest. The homestead exemption for school district taxes now stands at $140,000, a figure set by the 2025 legislature and approved by voters, not a sudden change for 2026. Governor Abbott described it as an almost 1,000% increase, a record jump designed to ease the burden for homeowners. For seniors and those with disabilities, the exemption climbs even higher, with an extra $60,000 added on top. Yet, there is no blanket property tax cap or automatic freeze. Local tax revenue growth is still limited by Senate Bill 2, passed in 2019, which restricts annual increases to 3.5% unless voters approve more. Appraisal officials across Texas confirm that protest rights and appeal procedures remain unchanged, despite claims online that new restrictions are coming. Overtime pay has also become a magnet for misinformation. Many videos warn of a major Texas-specific overtime law taking effect in 2026. In reality, the only change comes from Washington, not Austin. The United States Department of Labor raised the salary threshold for overtime exemption to $58,344 per year, and that rule applies nationwide. It was already in effect by July 2024. Texas does not have a separate state overtime law. Employers follow federal rules only. A Department of Labor compliance bulletin explains that no Texas-specific requirements exist, and that all employers must comply with the Fair Labor Standards Act. Any talk of a new 2026 Texas overtime law is simply fiction. Digital privacy rights have also been misrepresented. The Texas Data Privacy and Security Act passed in 2023, giving consumers the right to access, delete, or correct their personal information held by qualifying businesses. This law took effect in July 2024, not 2026. Companies have already updated their privacy policies, and consumers can submit requests directly to businesses handling their data. Viral claims of a sweeping new privacy law arriving in 2026 ignore the reality. Those rights are already available to Texans today. Each of these examples shows how viral misinformation often takes real laws passed years earlier, or set by federal agencies, and repackages them as breaking news. The result is confusion, not clarity. The next wave of rumors spreads quickly, but the facts remain public, verifiable, and unchanged. Rumors about sweeping changes to Texas gun laws have flooded social feeds, but the legal record is clear. Permitless carry has been the law in Texas since House Bill 1927 took effect in September 2021. Anyone 21 or older who is not otherwise barred by federal or state law can carry a handgun without a permit. No new restrictions or permit requirements have been passed for 2026. The rules about where firearms are prohibited, like schools, polling places, and bars, remain exactly as they were before. Despite viral claims of new bans or expanded zones, the statutes have not changed. Minimum wage claims follow the same pattern of fiction. Texas has never set its own minimum wage above the federal floor, and the legislature has shown no appetite for doing so. The rate remains $7.25 per hour, the same as the federal minimum set by the Fair Labor Standards Act. No bill passed in 2025 or any prior session raises this rate for 2026. Some cities tried to pass local minimum wage ordinances in the past, but those were struck down in court. Any video promising a $15 or $20 minimum wage for Texas workers in 2026 is simply inventing news. Cannabis rumors are another favorite for viral content creators. Texas expanded its compassionate use program in 2021 and again in 2023, allowing medical cannabis with low THC content for a narrow list of conditions. Recreational marijuana remains illegal under both state and federal law. CBD products are legal if they contain less than 0.3% THC, and that has been the case since federal rules changed in 2018. Nothing in the 2025 legislative session or any special session has legalized recreational cannabis or expanded medical use for 2026. The law has not budged, no matter how many videos promise otherwise. Other claims about traffic law updates, sweeping education rights, healthcare access, and new voting requirements all share the same flaw. There is no record of major legislative action affecting speed limits, DUI penalties, school funding, Medicaid, or voter identification rules. Those domains remain governed by existing statutes and federal law. No new bills passed in 2025 change these areas for 2026. The pattern repeats. Viral videos recycle old headlines or invent dramatic reforms, but the real laws remain public, traceable, and mostly unchanged. Sensational headlines do not go viral by accident. On platforms like YouTube and Facebook, the most eye-catching claims, no matter how far-fetched, rise to the top. Algorithms reward content that keeps people clicking, sharing, and watching longer. That means a video with a dramatic title about Texas 2026 law changes can reach millions, even if it is built on fiction. For some creators, this is not just a hobby, it is a business. The more views, the more ad revenue. The cycle feeds itself. One viral clip spawns dozens of copycats, each pushing the story further from reality. But the impact is not limited to online confusion. In towns across Texas, small business owners have spent thousands preparing for new wage or overtime rules that do not exist. One shop owner in Fort Worth described paying a consultant to rewrite employee handbooks, only to learn the supposed 2026 Texas overtime law was a misread federal change from years earlier. Local appraisal districts report a surge of calls from homeowners panicked by rumors of new property tax caps or sudden appraisal freezes. State agencies field questions about imaginary cannabis reforms, voting requirements, or traffic law overhauls that never pass the legislature. Time and money are wasted chasing shadows. There is a way to break the cycle. Every real Texas law is public, traceable, and easy to check if you know where to look. The Texas Legislature online at capitol.texas.gov lists every bill, amendment, and effective date. The Secretary of State website covers voting rules and deadlines. For legal opinions, the Attorney General's office posts official guidance. Agencies like the Texas Department of Transportation, the Texas Education Agency, and Health and Human Services publish updates on their own sites. When in doubt, read the actual text of a bill, not a social media summary, and you will see what is real and what is rumor. For legal questions, only a licensed Texas attorney can give binding advice. In the end, a few minutes of fact-checking can save hours of worry and hundreds of dollars. The tools are there. What matters most is using them before sharing or acting on the next viral claim. Right now, millions of Texans face real decisions shaped by fiction, not fact. Viral misinformation is not just noise. It rewrites rights, responsibilities, and trust. In a state where law is public record, clarity remains a choice. And in today's echo chamber, truth needs a louder voice. Stay vigilant.